on the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield. Welcome to the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. Brought to you by Coors Light, Choose Chill, and Gig 'em Aggies. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Also brought to you in part by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. And by Twisted Tea, hard iced tea for the 12th man. Please drink responsibly. Now, welcome to the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. Here's the voice of the Aggies, Andrew Monaco.
Welcome inside Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station for another edition of the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan, as we'll be talking Aggie hoops with the head coach of the Fightin' Texas Aggies for the next 60 minutes. We will talk about last night's win, 112-75 over the Jacksonville Dolphins. 6 Aggies in double figures, 27 assists on 42 field goals. Jamie Vincent with a new career high with 14 points. And Rylan Griffin with a season high 19 in the Aggies' 8th win of the season. They're 8-3 after 11 games. And up next for Texas A&M, they will host East Texas A&M on Sunday at Reed Arena at 3 o'clock. Again, we love seeing everybody here at Rudy's, and we thank you so much for joining us all along the Texas A&M Sports Network, or the 12th Man mobile app, or Learfield's Behind the Mic on the Texas A&M Basketball Facebook page, and on Learfield's Varsity Network app. Head coach Bucky McMillan joins me next. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan, and we roll on from Rudy's. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Get the best. Visit SchulteRoofing.com. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And the Aggies are 8-3 after a 112-75 win over the Jacksonville Dolphins last night at Reed Arena with the head coach of the Fightin' Texas Aggies, Bucky McMillan. Howdy, my friend.
Howdy. Good-looking family right
Good
here,
looking.
brother.
Well, except for the upper right corner, it's a great-looking family.
Your kids?
Here and here, his wife, that's our grandson right there. Yeah.
Got the DNA from the mom there.
Absolutely. Talent, smarts, everything.
I like it.
How are you, my friend?
Doing good.
Did you get a little more sleep after last night?
I did sleep pretty good after last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, we were pretty amped up after that volleyball game, so I'm glad
How about that?
I'm glad that was earlier. So I just saw Trev. I don't think Trev slept at all.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Jamie texted me back. I'm a late night texter. When I get to my text, he texted me back about 1:45 a.m. So
we tried. So here's what we tried to do is hoping that volleyball, they got a little delayed coming out of Lincoln. We wanted them to be there when the basketball game ended. So the 12th man could go from the win to celebrating the Final Four team, that volleyball team.
We'll do that for the championship.
Let's do it.
Let's time it up when they win the championship.
Would that be fantastic?
Let's do it.
Isn't that cool? I mean, just the way this campus is. It's so exciting, isn't it, Bucky?
I was talking to somebody, maybe it was on the radio, and we're talking about the volleyball team. It's really cool when you do something that hasn't been done. Yeah. But sometimes something – it's inevitable that's going to be done at some point, right? So it's cool. But when people think when you do something people think is impossible, like people didn't think it was possible for us. Now I'm talking about here in Aggieland. Yeah. But that you could win at Nebraska. Right. That's when it's like 20 times more special. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was what was so great. It's something that, it's obviously a historic season. Right. But, if you polled most people, they didn't think anyone could win at Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. And that's what makes sports so great. It's because you can watch that, and, man, it pumps you up like, hey, there's something I don't think's possible. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I saw that was an inspiration. You know what I mean? Yes. So that was cool. I like what Mike Elko was asked earlier today about, does it inspire your team? And Mike kind of turned it around and said, every woman on that court, on that floor, believed that's what matters. Yep. It doesn't matter what the national – not just Nebraska. They had to beat Louisville as well in Lincoln. Well, I don't know a lot about volleyball. Right. I mean, that's probably a good thing because I can enjoy it. But I felt on that day we were going to beat them more than they would beat us. We looked like the better team yesterday.
Right.
That's what I felt. I don't think that was a fluke. Like the way we're playing right now.
Agreed.
And our girls thought that. You could tell that. And now, when you're going to be really good, that's what you got. You know how hard you've worked. You know you're together. And so you got that confidence to you that, hey, let's go. And that's what we got right now.
As a coach, have you been able to identify that with your teams? And I'm not just talking about just this year because we keep talking about growth for this team, but your teams in the past. Do you get to that point and you say, man, they're getting it. That light bulb is just burning brighter in their minds?
Yeah, well, I think when teams really put in the work and they play really hard and they're together long enough, then you develop a certain confidence to you. But you got to go through tough times to get that, and you got to get over tough times because that's the only way that you're going to have confidence the next time you see something to get over that. I guarantee you if Jamie and them look back at their season, or maybe it could have been something last season, there was something that may have been a negative at the time. Maybe it was a situation they didn't do well in, a loss or something that allowed them to win that game yesterday.
Right. Right.
Because at tough time they learned from it, they went through it, and then they saw that, hey, we can fix this, we can do this. They did it another game, and then they were in that spot yesterday, and let's go. We know how this can go.
If I'm not mistaken, I think earlier in the season they had gone to North Texas. I think it was SMU and TCU, and I think they dropped both, and they were non-conference. But as you always talk, does it prepare you for the conference? And back to, do you learn from it, and do you go to work? And you don't just go to work after losses, right, Bucky? You go to work after wins as well. But to that point, okay, that's now in our memory bank. Let's not let that happen again.
Yeah, there's a standard that all good teams and programs will play to. And, like even last night, we talked about, the only way we're going to be able to execute at a high level in the last minute of a really close game is if we pretend that every single possession is the last minute of a very close game.
Right.
That's the only way you're going to be able to execute at that level. And so that's what we're preaching to all of our players in practice. And now that we have everybody practicing, that helps. And so we can be in those situations and have that level of focus. If you looked at, comparing that to a lot of great athletes, what made Tiger Woods so special as a golfer, or Michael Jordan so special, when you watched them play, you saw an intense focus in them. That was different. You could just tell they had a focus of I'm not going to be denied, just like our volleyball team last night. Yeah. And, when you have that going on, it's a separator. And it really is. It
wasn't just Tiger wearing the red on Sunday. It was him swinging the club on Sunday. And when he got the lead, he wasn't giving that lead up. Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
on that course.
I heard Tiger, Tiger's such a great athlete to study for a lot of reasons. The good and seeing what made him so great. But, he talked about, he would run something like 5 miles a day as a golfer. That was unheard of. And they asked him, why do you do that? I mean, you're playing golf. What's the point? And back then, these golfers, it was, they weren't fit at the time.
Right.
And he said, because I felt that gave me a mental clarity and a stamina that my mind was fresh late in the match when others, they'd be wearing down mentally.
Yeah.
And, that's the focus you got to have as a great athlete.
That's exactly right. I always heard this about Jack Nicklaus and what other golfers said. Most golfers are happy when they ascend the mountain. Jack looked for other mountains to climb. He and Michael and Tiger, they were all that way, right? This isn't it. They didn't exhale. It was okay, what's next?
Well, that they say that, it's really hard to climb the mountain. Once you climb the mountain, you are the mountain. Now everybody's trying to climb you. and that's even more of a challenge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we want to become that mountain one day.
Exactly. But you can't – we've talked about this before. You can't just snap your fingers and say, okay, you're the mountain.
Yeah.
No. You got to take all those steps, right?
Can't climb Everest, in 10 minutes. But if you could, everybody do it, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. And it's just for the special ones, right?
True.
That's what national champions are, and that's what you're building.
True.
That's what you're building. He is Bucky McMillan, head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. Are 8-3 after the win over Jacksonville. We're just getting started here at Rudy's. Stay with us. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan, and this is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12thman.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest will receive game tickets, a Bucky McMillan autographed basketball, and you'll be recognized on the video board during the game. Register today, 12thman.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. Alongside the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Bucky McMillan, reviewing the win over Jacksonville, all during the broadcast yesterday. John Thornton, who talks with you a lot, and he's right, and I'm writing all this stuff down on my score sheet that I want to bring up with you over the course of this hour. But I have to start with, I ask you a lot about, are you getting closer to 40 minutes of basketball? And the reason why I ask that, I guess it's another way of asking you, are you seeing the growth and getting to more complete? With the reminder that, again, it's just Mac's 6th game, and I don't mean that as an excuse. He's getting used. Rylan no longer has the flu, and we saw what Rylan can do from beyond the arc. And just, it's really neat to see, Bucky, that whatever 5 you put on that floor is really a cohesive 5. It doesn't matter if you change it up. You can really see everything coming together.
Yeah, they've bought into passing the ball.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And playing hard, that's for sure. I think we're, statistically top 2 in the country right now in assists per game, I believe, or assists per made basket. A very high percentage are coming off passes. Top 10 team in the country in scoring. So tempo's getting there. Sharing the ball, playing hard. And so if you're sharing the ball, you're playing unselfish. If you're playing hard, you're going to be able to get the tempo the way we like it. And then the rest, you can live with after that.
Mm-hmm. The play that stands out in my mind, and John and I were talking about this because the time with the Spurs always talked about good to great. But you guys are going good to great to greater. And I'm thinking of the one. Mac is wide open for 3. That would be a great shot. But he finds Federico underneath for a dunk. That unselfishness.
Yeah, there were several extra passes in that game. And I think the team is rallies around that. I think they know that that's contagious. It's contagious both ways. Yeah. And, the message to our players yesterday was, before we went out there, was look, the people here came to watch Texas A&M play. That's the reality of it. Yeah. And I said, there may be a couple people here in your family that came to watch you play. Right. Or your AU coach may be here. And, maybe you should do and take the shots they tell you to when they start paying for your scholarship, where you live, your meal plan. When we go on these airplanes, if they want to pay for all that, then we'll start taking their opinion on how many shots you should shoot. But for everybody else, this is about Texas A&M. Yeah. And that's what people come to see and support. And so we're going to have players that play for Texas A&M and what we can get to get the best shot for Texas A&M every time down the floor. And you've seen a lot of growth into that because I think the players really respect where they are. Yeah. All new. Mm-hmm. Takes them a second to know their surroundings, but you can tell that it's meaning something to them. Not just about them, not just about their teammates. It's meaning something to them to fight for this place. Yeah. And that's what you want, and that's the place will do that to you. You're here long enough. And, I think these guys really enjoy being here and playing for Texas A&M. And we got to say what it is on the positive side. We talk about the negative side of all new guys and late transition and all that. The positive side of that is, hey, we get to go at it with an underdog mentality. Right. If you're, I wouldn't want to be at some of these other SEC places where they had their roster intact and they had first pick of the litter coming in. They didn't have any change or anything. And, heck, you look, I'm not going to name a program in our league right now. They're catching so much flack right now, a blue blood program. Mm-hmm. When we get to be the opposite of that. We're right here. Hey, man, we get to come out here as underdogs, an underdog mentality. And I'm not saying we're going to be an underdog in every game, but I'm saying that mindset. Right. Everybody fight together. That's a great spot to be in. I keep going back to it. What made that win so great against Nebraska with volleyball? They had all the weight on the world on their shoulders. Correct. Our girls were attacking the whole game. Right. And so that's the team we want to be, and that's a fun place to be.
Not just underdogs, though, Bucky. Underdogs with talent playing together. Yep. And depth. And it's one thing to have depth. It's another to have depth and talent
And that's what you have, especially if you have Ryland coming off the bench and you have Pop coming on. They're starters, right? And that really puts a lot of pressure on the other. Not all the other benches are going to be as good as your bench, for sure.
Yeah, I think if you lined up for the first five, I'm not saying we're going to have the best five in the SEC. You're going to see a lot of SEC teams that have, 3 or 4 draft picks starting for them. Mm-hmm. But if you line up our guys 1 through 10, I like us 1 through 10 in that spot. So we got to find the strength of this team is we have depth, we have quality depth, we have quality shooters. Yeah. There's going to be nights when when you don't have just that. Those 3 players are just going to absolutely overpower the other team. Mm-hmm. That there's going to be some nights where when we struggle shooting it, we're going to have to fight extra hard. And there's going to be some halves like that where you just got to hang in there. Right. SMU has been a great example. We were 1 for 17 from 3 or 1 for our first 17 threes. Mm-hmm. We did that versus Oklahoma State, and our guys weren't ready psychologically for that. Couldn't overcome it.
Right.
We couldn't hang in there. Mm-hmm. Our guys hung in there and eventually took the lead. That's what we got to rally around with this group. That when it's not going in, hey, we're going to have some nights where we're going to be great. Mm-hmm. But when it's not, we got to hang in there and find a way to hang around because eventually we got too many shooters where they're going to go. But we got to be within striking distance when it happens.
Oh, Bucky, that's just from game 3 to game 10, though. Yep. You saw that over the course of 7 games. And from half to half, that adjustment was fantastic to the point that you had SMU on their heels then.
Yeah.
Which was awesome because that, and I don't want to say the switch was turned because it's not like that, but it was just the trust in one another that, to your point, 15 points is not that much when those shots are falling.
Yeah, 15 points for us, how we play, because we're fast on both sides of the ball, isn't much when we're behind, and unfortunately it's not that much when we're in front. That's just the way that it is. I mean, it's high variance right now. In the future, we won't be as high variance because we'll be able to have a little more size to us. Mm-hmm. We're going to be able to obviously still shoot, but we're going to have a little more size. We're going to have more power at the rim. It's not the best rim finishing team that we're ever going to have, but we're going to eventually be to that point. We're going to have them both so we can control the variance both ways. We're always going to play fast and up-tempo. One thing that I'm really happy with, I think we're top 10. Warren can tell you the stats in the country in free throw attempts per game or free throw made per game. Yeah. So, that's something that, you're not people could say, well, that's just too finesse-oriented if we have so much variance on the three-point line. You're not a soft team if you're getting to the free throw line.
Correct.
You're not soft if you're getting the free throw line. And so we're getting to the line. And that's very important. That kills runs, that travels, that puts them in the bonus. Lots of great things. And we do it different. We don't just throw it in the post. Mm-hmm. We have shooters, so we space out driving gaps and attack. And I'm telling you, some of our practices, as these guys will know, they've been to some of them. A lot of those passes early in the year and even some of our practices now when they're playing at that pace get thrown up in the bleachers and hit some of these guys. But, hopefully that we keep going and there's less and less going in the bleachers and more going in the basket.
The beauty about the free throw line as well is you can have a guy who might be struggling, but once he sees that free throw and sees that shot go through the rim, that can change everything.
Free throw's all mental.
Yeah.
People ask, our team's always been pretty decent shooting free throws. What do you do to make free throws? Well, first it starts, you do want good shooters, but next is this. We just, after every drill, we have a free throw that a player has to make to confirm the win. So if you're on the maroon team, I'm on the white team. Yeah. We have 10 drills a day, for example. They're all kept up with. Maroon's up 1-0. Now my team won the drill with my team. The player off my team, we pick him, got to go to the line. If he makes a free throw, it counts for that win. Gotcha. At the end of the day, we run for wins and losses. So we may, over the course of the day, only take 10 free throws total between the entire team. But they all mean something. I think that's far better than taking 100 that there's no pressure on it. And so we've always done that, and our players, I don't want them overthinking the free throw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just rather than be able to react under pressure and been in that moment before.
So if you have all that competitiveness on Monday through Saturday, that makes Sunday, you understand the way I say makes it easier. That's just another competition for everybody. Because maroon going against white, John and I always joke, you get first pick because I don't care who you pick. I'm fine with the other 5. I have no problem with that.
Well, for us to be great, we got to get better. Our players have to get better. That's every team. Yeah. But I think people lose sight of that if it comes down to what's going to help us win the most SEC games would be good players, so our players need to keep improving.
Right.
And so it's not going to be that we get them with some tricky plays. I mean, we always want a good play here or there. It's going to be how do your players improve. So that's why when we practice, we don't like put the starters on one team and then the guys that come off the bench on another. And for us, that wouldn't have been that big a deal anyway. We change the groups every single day, so it's kind of best on best. Mm-hmm. And we do that because our guys, they need to improve and keep getting better as players. And they're doing that. That's for sure. You can see our three-point percentage has gone up yes. compared to the start of the season. They're in way better shape. I mean, some of these guys, man, I don't know if they played half-court basketball before they got here or they just had a great August.
Right.
But, man, they'd run up and down the court 3 times, and, they couldn't make a shot. So they're in the right shape now, and when you're in that, you don't lose that.
When we come back, I want to talk about your scout team as well. We talk about getting teams better. That's when we return to Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. We'll continue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan, and this is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Thanks to the generosity of 12th Man Foundation donors, Aggie student-athletes have the resources to succeed at Texas A&M and beyond. Start your tradition of support today at 12thmanfoundation.com. Up next for the Aggies, Sunday, 3 o'clock, East Texas A&M at Reed Arena. And a reminder, free admission to those games. Wonderful to see everyone at Reed Arena. But 3 o'clock on Sunday, the Aggies and the Lions of East Texas A&M. We continue. It's the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan from Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And you were talking about teams getting better, good on good, iron sharpens iron, whichever one you want to use. But your scout team is as talented as any scout team out there, and there is a reason for that, correct?
You talk about our blue team?
The blue team.
The Aggies?
The Aggies.
Man, those are the true Aggies. Yeah. No one plays harder than them.
No one.
This is the hardest playing group in the country right there. All of them.
And when it's so vital, it's interesting. You talk about them like that. Mike Elko starts every media availability after a game by announcing who the offensive scout team player of the week is and the defensive scout team and the special team, because that's only how you get back. If they don't give you the right look, you're not prepared for that next game, are you?
No, you're not. Brad Stevens was at Butler at the time, and they went through like a little losing streak after they went to the national championship, and he said that one of the turning points in his season was he brought the scout team in there, guys that weren't playing as much or whatnot, and told them, I think the reason we're not playing very well right now is because y'all aren't playing very well in practice and y'all aren't dialed in like y'all are. He said, it basically changed the momentum. They got back dialed in. That deal made the practice go up to another level, and they ended up winning like game after game after game. So, it all trickles up, all trickles down, right? Yes. And so everybody's got to pull their weight. The thing I love about our guys on that team, they play so hard. We know that. And they want to see A&M do so well. These are guys that came to A&M with a lot of them with no thought of being on the basketball team, just a dream that they could be a part of it. Those guys, they'll leave the gym. They'll be the last one to leave the gym every day.
That's awesome. We talk about how valuable it is when you walk off the floor with a win, when everybody has a piece of that win. They have a piece of that victory as well, don't they?
That's how we want everybody to feel.
Yeah.
The ownership in it, particularly at Reed Arena, when we can have an impact on the game, it matters. It really does. It matters in recruiting. It matters, in that certain game, obviously the impact. I don't think you can have – in basketball, there's probably a bigger impact in the game of basketball than maybe any other sport if you have a really good home court environment.
Yeah.
It's a big impact. And so we want everybody when they leave to feel that they were a part of the success, because it's going to take everybody here when we get to league play.
I love seeing your players mingling with the 12th man after wins.
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal.
Well, it takes everybody.
Yeah.
And we appreciate everybody that's come. I appreciate everybody that's here tonight. I know holidays are right here, and I know everyone has obligations. I always say it's because of the barbecue, but I appreciate y'all being here. But even in the other day, we got no students. Not many are here. Some made the effort to get there, even on their break right now. So We got some football to win here, some volleyball to win, but we'll get to January here, and there's going to be some SEC basketball games we need to win.
Oh, that's going to be fun. January 3rd, LSU is the first of 18. We'll have much more to come from Rudy's 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. When we continue with the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan, this is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. And that's where we are, Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. It's the home of the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. And we continue in this next half hour of this show. And I don't always get into individuals, but I'm going to get into individuals. Man, does Jamie Vincent have a ceiling on him. It is just so much fun to watch him game by game by game and just watching that game expand and blossom.
He's just a sophomore. And, you see how big he is. He can finish. He's strong, and he can make threes. He's really been working on his three ball. Mm-hmm. I watched him when I was at Samford when I was recruiting, and I was kind of recruiting him a little bit, and then he ended up getting better and better and better. So I'm familiar with Jamie and, his growth.
Yeah.
And if he can have the same growth he's had the past 2 years and the next two, he's going to be a problem for other teams in this league.
Oh, my gosh, absolutely. And you just see all your guys, but not a one-trick pony. It's like throwing the ball down to Rashawn. Good luck picking which shoulder he's going to go over, right?
It's funny having Rashawn who's going to try to go through you every time, then Jamie's going to go over you,
Yeah.
But, length down there, you throw a ball to the rim, Jamie is long, it's going to end up being a dunk.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I mean, it helps when it's that easy.
It does. There's no greater security blanket for a guard than a big when you can just lob it to the rim and they can finish. Federico can do that. Jamie can do it. Rashawn can do it. Zach can do it. I'm leaving people out, and I shouldn't. Matt can do it. That is a great security blanket, is it not?
So the same thing on defense, too. Jamie's alters so many shots and blocks shots. Our defense has shown analytically is way better when he's in the game around the rim. Their rim shot percentage goes significantly down. Fetty's a different type of big. Fetty's really good on the press.
Yeah.
We put him on the front of that press, and, he's like Spider-Man up there. Jamie's not the same on the press. He's more of a half-court guy.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a two different guys. And then when you throw Rashawn in, sometimes I think Rashawn's going to have a heart attack on the press sometimes. He'll go up and down the court 2 times, and he needs a sub pretty quick. He's asking for more subs than any player I've ever coached,
But he leaves it all, right? In those trips up and down the floor, he leaves everything there.
He's so powerful of a player. Plays so much bigger than he is. He'd been like a great defensive lineman, and then the way he rebounds. Yeah. Some of the best rebounders, if you think about it, are kind of built different and not necessarily 6'10". Charles Barkley, Dennis Rodman, they just have a mindset. It's like, this is my ball.
That's mine. Yeah. It's so much fun to watch because he's not intimidated. But you talk about that rim protection. It's not always block shots. You can change, or you can change that opposing player who's trying to score, change that mentality, knowing that you are a threat there by the rim.
Yeah, I remember playing in a game when I was in college and went in there, and this guy talked about this guy was a decent shot blocker, so pump fake him, and I forgot. And the guy literally, I guess we were playing with Spaldings back then, and he blocked it so hard I think I still had Spalding printed on my face for 2 weeks. Needless to say, next time I went in there, it was a shot fake and pitch it out. I'm not doing that again. And so, just the impact on the other team mentally when you get a couple of them, they start hearing footsteps even when you're not around them.
Right.
We had a couple last game. We just had mentioned it about guys have breakaways, but effort coming through, maybe this is going to be a block shot, causes them to travel or something.
Right.
And Jamie's a big cause of a lot of that.
Yeah.
He's a big cause of it.
It's the same thing with that press. Bucky, it may not be on the initial pass, right? It could be a couple of passes because they have to adjust because – here's a double team, which I thought was outstanding, that if it was caught in the corner, that double team's there, and that's like having 4 defenders, forcing a timeout or the turnover, or it could be on the next pass or even that pass coming across midcourt. It really wears on teams, especially for 40 minutes, correct?
Yeah, there's many things that it can impact a game with, and that we obviously know all the analytics because we track them, so we know where we are with it, is how it impacts defense. But it can also impact offense even when you don't get turnovers because you're leaning on another team that will eventually hopefully make their defense weaker because they have to rest somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't want to fight a great defense at full strength.
Correct.
Like, you got to lean on them and have them. Our depth has to be an issue in the game. It has to be an issue. So we got to keep leaning on teams where their battery's not on full when ours is on full. And I think that's why you can see when we have some of these scoring runs, I think that we got an energized group out there, and maybe they're not all the way where they were a couple minutes before.
So if you have 5 on a string on defense and 5 on a string on offense sharing the basketball, there is no break for that other team, right? They're looking for one, but it's not coming.
Yeah, so the way that I've looked at basketball when we get this thing really rolling is, you watch a game, like at the end of a game, and a team is, like, down by 1, and they have just this – with a minute left or 30 seconds, they have like this ferocious energy to deny, not let them catch the ball, trap, run through, hawk the ball, touch the ball. And then same deal when your team is down by 1 and you have the ball and there's 12 seconds left. You're not going to see someone just dribbling up the court slow. You're going to see a team with that look in their eyes like, we got to be aggressive to make this happen. Well, I just want our players to play that the whole game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
The whole game, where it's just nonstop for the other team. In moments, it may you're going to have some turnovers along the way. You have some fouls. They're going to get some dunks.
Yeah.
But in totality of it all, like, we want to be what we are, and it's a good way to play because we'll always be the aggressor.
We always focus on the last minute, right? But that 17th minute is just as important if you're playing, and that 24th minute and that 30th minute, right? And then you're not worried about that last minute because you've played to your identity.
That's exactly right. If you can sustain what we're talking about and you have the level of focus to do it, then that becomes your habit, throughout. And that's what we want, that just to be the habit. Our habits have increased a lot.
Yeah.
If you watch us play early in the season till now, they wouldn't even look like the same team in terms of the effort, the sharing the basketball, the focus. Now we got to go to the next level.
Right.
We got to go to the next level with it. And I told our players, I've heard the quote before, is that, you as an athlete, it's kind of like in life, you can deal with 2 types of Ds. So deal with the pain of discipline and can deal with the pain of disappointment.
Yeah. Yep.
If you can deal with the pain of discipline, you don't have to deal with the pain of disappointment.
It won't be disappointment. No.
So that's where we got to have our mindset is we got to deal with the pain of discipline. And that means how hard we practice, how focused we are, how focused we're on the floor. And the reason why you don't have disappointment is not that you're never going to lose. It's that you can walk away knowing we did everything we could do. And we want those fans to walk away and say, they did everything they could do.
Right.
And guess what? We'd all come to Rudy's on a Monday after a loss, and we'd eat good because we'd say, we did all we could do, guys. Let's go get them next time. And that's what you really want. And as opposed to even a game you may win, when you didn't even do everything you could do. You didn't play hard enough. You didn't do that. We'd sit here eating on a Monday and say, we're not giving it everything we got. Long term, that mindset is going to get it done because the results will just take care of itself.
He's the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Bucky McMillan. This is the Aggie Basketball Hour at Rudy's. Stay with us. It's Aggie Basketball from Learfield. When you need a new roof or just have a pesky leak, you want to count on the winning team at Schulte Roofing, home of the Bulletproof Roof Guarantee. Get the best. Visit SchulteRoofing.com. We continue. Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan. East Texas A&M is in on Sunday. That's at 3, second game of a doubleheader. Aggie women will be taking on Prairie View A&M. That will be at noon at Reed. Wanted to ask you one other individuals again. I thought Ali Deba played really well. This is really good to see.
Yeah, Ollie's athletic. When he's on the floor, we can play faster because he can make the other team play faster on defense. He's He made a three yesterday. He's actually been shooting it well. Yeah. I used to joke with our staffs and that him and Ruben are the opposite. Ruben's the most unathletic player that makes threes. Ollie's the most athletic player that can't make threes. Now they're both coming around to Ruben playing a little better defense and Ollie making threes. So he's athletic. He plays hard, and he can get the basket. And he's good on that press, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's you said early in the season, guys like Ollie, paint points. You don't have to just throw it into the big. Cut to that basket and rack it, as you like to talk about. He can flat out do that, can he?
So he averaged about 17 points, 17 and a half last year at Southern Hill. Mm-hmm. Now they didn't have a great season, but you know, he was a force in that league for them. Mm-hmm. And so he knows how to score the ball. Now, obviously, you go up a level, you know, it's different. You know, he's not playing the same amount of minutes, obviously. Yeah. But, you know, he was great in that game. He was great in the Florida State game.
Yes.
And so, you know, his time's called. You know, he can make a big impact.
For guys like that, and I know it's the adjustment to the next level, but they have been at the top of the scouting report for a lot of oppositions. Ruben's now finding that out, correct? Is he not? Now, because of that, you have to adjust. But even if Ruben's not getting the ball, he's commanding a defensive presence that can help the others on the floor, can it not?
That's the power of shooting, and that's what people forget. And when we can play 5 out and 5 players on the perimeter, sometimes you'll see, why do we shoot so many free throws? Because they're having to play one-on-one defense when we drive the ball, they can't help.
Right.
And so when it's one-on-one, they have to foul. As opposed to if you have 2 shooters and the other guys can't shoot, you're going to have 3 guys in the paint at all times. Mm-hmm. And you can cover those 2 shooters because that's all you got to worry about. Everybody else is jammed in the paint.
Right.
So shooting equals spacing. Spacing equals good offense.
And it seems there's so many times Ryland did it, where even after an offensive rebound or even coming into the offense, they run to their spot.
Yep.
Right? And that's the shot that he's hitting in practice. He's going to hit in the game as well, correct?
Touch the corners. I mean, that's what we tell them. Yeah. You know, flood the corners first, try to pitch it up, pitch it across, try to get a paint touch as quickly as possible. You know, in the way that we look at the game is we want to explore the rim as quickly as possible and then fan out for threes. So those are called paint touch threes. Mm-hmm. So all the analytics will tell you that if you can get to the paint twice in a possession, you're going to go through the roof analytically. On defense, you want to keep teams out of the paint, right? And, you know, most of the time that you see teams make threes on us, or even when we make threes, a lot of times they're going to come from paint touch threes. It means we drove it in there, they help, kick it out, spray it out, one more shot. Those are high-level baskets. And when we're giving up too much, we're not guarding the ball well. When we had to play early in the year without McKenzie, we had Rashawn playing the 4.
Right.
Of course, Rashawn's having to guard players on the perimeter. You know, that's asking me to go tackle Marcel Reed. And so a lot of times they'd be driving that ball, getting to the paint, spraying it out, and making threes on us. Now we got players back, more people in their natural position. We can guard the ball better, which guards the three-point line better.
More comfortable, right? Not that Rashawn can't, and he's done it a little bit, but you don't want it very often, right? You want him to be as comfortable as possible on that day.
Well, we just want him being able to guarding. It's unfair when a team, like we played Montana, they played 5 guys that could play on the perimeter. They had 4 guards out there at all times. Yeah. You know, and we're asking Rashawn, he has to match up with the guard there because of just we didn't have all our players back. He can do that versus Florida.
Right.
Because they're going to have 2 forwards in that game. No problem. He's going to need a bit to do that. But now we have more versatility on defense. The whole point is you got to be able to keep the ball out of the paint.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be able to do that because that's going to take away 2s and 3s.
Right.
I'll be the first to tell you, our player strength is not being the best individual defenders. That's not what these players are. They're improving. They're getting better. They're trying, but God didn't gave them great shooting ability, great hearts. God didn't say, I'm going to make you the best individual defender. So they really have to have a lot of work with that. They've got a lot better with that. So because of that, it's a team that needs great help defense. We have to be great as a team defensively, right? I mean, if the defensive line has to tackle Marcel Reed, who's scrambling, one player's not going to get him.
Right.
They're going to have a good team scheme to tackle Marcel Reed.
Yeah.
Well, when we play, you know, we're going to have a great team scheme, and it's got to be keep out of the paint first, close down to shooters.
One final segment of the Aggie Basketball Hour with Bucky McMillan to come when we return to Rudy's. It's Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Final segment. Aggie Basketball Hour. Bucky McMillan. 12th Man Aggie NIL is the new program that will maximize third-party NIL opportunities for Texas A&M student-athletes, and you can help the Aggies become the national leader in this new era of college athletics. Visit 12thman.com/Aggie NIL to find out how. Hunter Stunkel is the producer of the Aggie Basketball Hour. This evening, the Stunkmeister, as we have found that out, we want Hunter to stay, so we have to be really nice. Kevin Menchow is our engineer, and he hides behind that. Yeah, see? Finally, applause. He hides behind that post. He'd rather do all the work in the dark, is what he will do. This is our final show for 2025. We're not getting together until the new year. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. What am I missing? All of those. It's that holiday season.
I'll tell you what we're missing. Can we hear for Andrew for doing this show all the time, being so dang good with it right here? I mean,
too kind.
Hey,
you're too kind.
He's on the road with us all the time. He is. He is the best. Always positive. Always fight for the Aggies, man. We appreciate you.
You're kind. Thank you, Bucky. I appreciate that. You know they pay me. That's the beauty of it.
They pay me too.
Yeah, when it becomes work, I quit. For that, I appreciate that very much.
What do we say? We do this for free. So someone asked about coaching, and they said, you get all the other stuff, the travel you got to go through, but they're doing the games and the coaching, and you get on the headset. You do that for free. That's what we say. It's all the other stuff is why they pay you. Dennis Rodman said that about basketball.
That's a great line.
He said, I'd go play basketball for free. It's just all the scrutiny you're under all the time.
That's exactly right. He brought an awful lot on himself, for sure. Fun time of year in that you get to balance finals. Right? You get to but this week, this preparation, you don't get this after these next couple of weeks, because when you get into the SEC, except for that little time during the bye, this is a time to really learn and prepare, is it not?
Yeah, we get this many practices in a row, you get a lot better. And, they're going to get some time off for Christmas, which will be good for them. Hopefully they'll come back fresh, get to see their families. We got some kids from overseas that won't be able to go home, so we'll do something for them. Ruben's family's here, by the way, for Spain, which is great.
Yeah, I just saw them in Kyle Field. We walked out of Mike Elko and Jenny Mee's press conference, and I think he was giving them a tour of seeing Kyle Field.
Yeah, he talked about how warm it was over here, and they come over here these last 2 days.
He was in Pittsburgh, and
that's exactly right. Yeah.
And then here we have the cold snap as well.
But, no, it'd be good. It'd be a good time for the guys to get better and come back charged up.
They need that break, right? That's part of that mental break that they will need, but come back with the right mindset. Yeah,
I've always had our teams, getting to see their families, getting to do all that. Like it's good for them. They're for their spirit. It's a good. The more they treat it with the professionalism and focus of a job, the better. But the less that it feels like a job, the better.
Right.
Right. And it's where you want to have the joy in playing the game, where you don't want your players to be counting down the days to the season is over, And, we've all been around athletic teams where the monotony of the season is just like, no matter how much they love it, they're like, when is this over with? You know what I mean? We want teams where the best teams I've coached, just like they just enjoy each other. They hate it when it's over.
Yeah. They're always with one another.
Yeah.
We just practiced, and then they're always with one another off the floor as well. That's when you know you got a special group, correct?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Pleasure, my friend.
You're the best. Appreciate you, buddy.
Bucky McMillan.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all again.
So glad you are here. You know that. You are an Aggie.
I appreciate it.
For sure. Bucky and the Aggies, Sunday, that will be at 3 o'clock. We'll join you at 2:30 with our Dos Equis tip-off show, the Aggies and East Texas A&M. And Thursday, 5:30, volleyball. Final Four on their way to a national championship. We thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays to everyone.